wanted to increase capacity in manufacturing, and the best way to prove that we can is do it digitally first. And this is how the digital first approach came about. And we did do it in a short amount of time. I think it was like 10 to 12 weeks.
This is Talking Digital Industries, a podcast for technologies and trends that drive sustainable digital enterprises. My name is Conor Peick. Today we are looking at a food and beverage industry that is changing faster than ever before. Consumers want more variety, more sustainable products, and more personalization, and they want it all delivered faster. Meanwhile, supply chains are volatile, costs are rising, and the pressure to do more with less has never been greater. So what do you do when you're PepsiCo, a global powerhouse with one of the most complex supply chains on the planet? You do something that no food and beverage company has ever done before. You digitally twin your entire operation. To unpack how they are doing this, I'm joined today by three people at the absolute center of that story. We have Steven Hoinka, VP of Global Manufacturing Strategy and Transformation at PepsiCo, Ali Peyrovi, VP of Global Warehouse Strategy and Transformation at PepsiCo, and Stuart McCutcheon, who's Global VP for the Industrial Metaverse, Digital Twin, and New Product Introduction at Siemens Digital Industries Software. Steven, Ali, and Stuart, welcome to Talking Digital Industries. So just to start off, Steve, you oversee the sort of manufacturing strategy and transformation globally at PepsiCo. I'd love to know what the business challenges are that you face that made PepsiCo think, maybe we need to rethink how our operations work.
That's a great question. I mean, I don't think it's that much different really than most CPG companies. Mm-hmm. There's obviously a focus on becoming more agile as a supply chain in general and being able to optimize the traditional supply chain operations tactics of really making sure from an operations standpoint we're as efficient as we possibly can be. Mm-hmm. That translates to being able to provide value to the consumer, obviously. Yeah. And that's important. But I think a lot around just making sure that end to end, because typically, even within CPG organizations, we typically are relatively functional and are optimized in our particular world, so to speak. But being able to really see end to end and optimize flow from raw material through manufacturing, through how do we distribute to downstream mixing centers, and it's ultimately to the customer, having that true end-to-end visibility and figuring out and making sure that from an overall operations standpoint, we're driving those efficiencies that we need to in order to be the most efficient company we can be.
Yeah. So thinking about those efficiencies and sort of the end-to-end perspective, Ali, you look at this from the warehouse and logistics side. What's your take on those challenges and what does this look like when maybe you have a big spike in orders or something when that pressure hits your
what I was going to say, what's changed for us is the number of SKUs increasing.
Okay.
The speed is increasing, customer expectation is increasing. So how do we meet those challenges in a way that's very predictable? Mm-hmm. And we have visibility to what's coming and what's around the corner as well. So leveraging digital twin is a way for us to be able to do that. We can simulate what could happen event and be able to be ready for it. Mm-hmm. So that's the key unlock for us.
Yeah.
And warehouse, people think it as just holding product, but it's holding product with many SKUs, lots of flow, constraint as we get bigger and scale. So digital twin is a way for us to unlock and find the hidden inefficiencies that we have in the system.
Yeah. So I love that you brought up the digital twin already. Stuart, as we're talking about the digital twin, maybe for a listener who's more of a business leader, they're not on the engineering side. What does the digital twin do to help their operations? How does it address some of those challenges that Steve and Ali have laid out for us?
Well, I think Ali just mentioned some of the value of digital twin, but really think of you got the physical world of how things work. Mm-hmm. I can model this now in a virtual world. Yeah. And I need to make sure that the virtual world and the physical world are matching. But now I can do what-if scenarios. I can do worst case scenarios, extreme points, model those, and can your system sustain it? Yeah. So think of a worst case order bank coming in, your nightmare order bank. Can you model this? And can your actual system manage it? Yeah. Right. And so that's the things that digital twin can do for you. You can see beyond what you can see physically.
Right. And that way you get to know that you're prepared for it rather than having it occur and then finding,
Correct.
oh, maybe we weren't ready.
Or you might want to use it to diagnose what went wrong with something,
Yeah, sure.
right? So you can use it both ways, right? You
Yeah.
can predict, and you can also use it for analyzing what went wrong.
Nice. So then, as we think about that the capabilities of the digital twin, Steve, when it maybe first went live in the first manufacturing facility, what changed for you guys? Were there things that you could see that maybe you weren't able to before? How did it change maybe the way that you analyze issues or manage your operations?
Well, another great question. Essentially, as we've matured through this process, early on, it really was about simulation of as is and understanding of spatially how we're leveraging floor space, et cetera. And this is probably, Ali could elaborate a little more on this. Yeah. There were really quick wins in terms of identifying layout opportunities that were hampering efficiencies and flow. Just the ability to, and Ali uses this term all the time, but to model it digitally first, do it digitally first before we do anything that's bolting anything to a floor or unbolting anything from the floor. We've already seen value in doing that. Okay. I think we'll see, to Ali's point, more when we get into operationalizing and we're relatively mature from a digital standpoint already. Yeah. But having something that overlays on top of that, and again, that end-to-end concept of help me understand where I have the biggest opportunities. Yeah. That's where we're going to really unlock even more potential or more productivity or value from leveraging the digital twins in the future.
Okay. Nice. So, given that Steve just sort of broke it down for us on the manufacturing side, and Ali, you're a supply chain warehouse expert. So, same question basically. How does the digital twin change the way that you operate? Maybe that you can plan and optimize PepsiCo's distribution network?
I would say digital twin allows us to make better decision faster.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you can see what's happening digitally, and you can see it not just at a site level. You can see it at a network level. And be able to predict what's going to happen. You can find all the edge cases. Really about optimization and doing more or getting more out of what you already have. Just optimizing it. So I would always say it allows us to make better decision faster.
Got it. Nice. Yeah, and not just at one facility, like you said. It's
the whole network.
The whole network, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. A quick follow-up on that. So when Steve's manufacturing team, maybe they do make a change, how quickly does that ripple into the warehouse now versus before?
So we can predict what's going to happen.
Okay.
Now that we have a digital version of our facility. So Steve may have multiple scenarios he wants to play. We could not only see it digitally, but also predict what could happen. And that allows us to kind of plan backward from kind of manufacturing all the way through our customer. And not at the site level, but also at the network level. Because as you know, in supply chain, everything is connected.
Yeah,
One thing impacts another. So for the first time, leveraging digital twin, we're able to see the downstream impact, what's happening in manufacturing, and also upstream. So it's really a kind of a good tool to use to predict what's going to happen. Yeah. It's more about figuring out what to do because the demand from the customer is increasing. Our supply chain is getting more complex. So we are using this tool to get really good at it.
Yeah. And presumably you can do a similar thing in the manufacturing space about that sort of prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's we've seen that value already in terms of floor layout, how you design a line and model that digitally before you do anything physically. And we were seeing that value already. I think even to touch on some of the points that Ali made as well, the end-to-end visibility, again, historically, we've been functionally excellent.
Yeah.
However, when you're thinking about end-to-end value chain, that may not be what's optimal for the whole entire business. And so being able to model whatever change we plan on making or would like to make in manufacturing to understand the downstream implications, there either needs to be changes to accommodate those changes to ensure that we're being as efficient as we can throughout the value chain, or maybe we pull back in some of the plans that we're doing in manufacturing to make sure that we're optimizing the whole versus each individual part.
Yeah.
Digital twin allows us to do that.
Amazing. So then, Stuart, I'd love to sort of get an idea of how this partnership has evolved a little bit. And so, did Siemens pitch this idea to PepsiCo? Did you guys have already a conception of what you wanted to do? And
so we've been working on the Industrial Metaverse for a number of years.
Yeah.
And Ali and I actually, beginning of last year, we started talking about it. We actually explained some of the vision. There's some changes happened towards the third quarter of what's happening of projects inside PepsiCo.
Yeah.
And there was sort of an opportunity opened up to show what we could do.
Yeah.
Ali and the team and Steve sort of gave us a challenge.
Okay.
Bit of an accelerated activity.
Yeah.
And said, let's see what you can do. Nice. Right. And so it wasn't our traditional way of doing things. And so we did a fairly accelerated program to actually show engineering working, but also to create a vision of where Pepsi could go.
Yeah.
Right. So a showcase.
Okay.
And so we did two dynamic projects at the same time. And so it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
And accelerated, yeah.
Yes.
Accelerated,
and you gave us the easiest 3 plants you could possibly find. So, which was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
So it was good. I think we both learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was our first endeavors into the food and beverage world, to be honest. And so from this sort of project, a lot of similarities we've got for other industries, but this was a new opportunity for us.
Nice.
And so it was exciting.
Yeah.
But not our traditional way of doing things.
Not the normal, yeah.
Yes.
So then for you guys, I mean, when Stuart first kind of approached you guys, when you first started having these conversations, what made you decide to try it out, basically? What got you to jump in?
We were looking for a partner to allow us to scale. We've done many POCs, pilots, but that we knew that the technology worked. Our challenge was how do you scale it? And we felt that Siemens would be a good partner. And we already had connection with NVIDIA. So it felt like we can leverage Siemens industrial experience to bring scale to it. So it was a good fit. We had 3 sites in mind. We wanted to increase capacity in manufacturing. And the best way to prove that we can is do it digitally first. And this is how the digital first approach came about. And we did do it in a short amount of time. I think it was 10 to 12 weeks. We did a lot done in that to show that it's possible.
Wow.
In digital. And now that project has grown, and we're going to be taking a phase 2, which is much broader and much bigger. And it's beyond the 3 sites we started. It's going to be a whole network.
Got it.
So, yeah.
And the goal really was to show value quickly.
Yeah.
Some of these projects we've worked with are multi-year, and they take a long time to deliver value. And PepsiCo was pretty clear with us that they wanted to show value quickly. So that was one of the keys.
And that's the fastest way to scale. As soon as you can show value, then the organization gets behind it and
ready to go.
We can scale it.
Yeah.
That's the trick to it.
Yes.
And it's great because as you guys continue to develop the program and that network effect that you mentioned earlier, it's just going to get bigger, presumably, as you connect more facilities.
In US, we have many of those network. We already know the next 5 network that we want to approach it the same way.
Yeah.
But the first one, this is the first one that's in Texas. We call it Texas Triangle.
Okay.
So this is going to be we're going to create a blueprint using this approach and then able to replicate it in the next 5 market.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Stuart, final word for part 1 here. You've deployed similar projects like this in other industries, and this is kind of a first for the F&B industry. This is a first step. What do you think this project could mean for the F&B industry at large?
So it's quite interesting. We've got a lot of interest since we basically did CES presentation, and we presented what is capable. I think the F&B industry wasn't quite sure that digital twin could really deliver the value, but I would say every company now is chasing this.
Yeah.
They realize the value of what it can bring for them. Mm-hmm. And it's different, right? So the number of customers PepsiCo touches is a totally different scale from other industries, right?
Yeah.
There's billions of customers they touch.
Yeah.
And the product volumes and everything else are different. So there's different challenges. Mm-hmm. And so we're learning together. And I think food and beverage is going to really jump in here.
Nice.
But we have to make sure PepsiCo is successful.
Yes.
Thank you.
They're the lead.
Yeah. And that's it for today's episode of Talking Digital Industries. A huge thank you to Steven, Ali, and Stuart again for joining me. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe. My name's Conor Peick. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.